Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 2, Benfica 0 in the Champions League. Perfect evening because Basel lost at home to Moscow, which means Moscow and Basel have got 6 points. We've got 12. Apart from some miracle, we will qualify top of the group, which is great, which means we've got 2 games and we can do more things like playing McTominay tonight. And I guarantee you the man of the match will be somebody beginning with M. But it's not Scott McTominay, so hang on to see who it will be. But a fantastic result for United. I mean, I also want to talk about in a few minutes Mourinho, who just looked absolutely moody the whole game and after the game. Looked really like he wanted to start a fight with somebody. I don't get it. Is he got an issue with the crowd or something? I don't get it. We'll talk about that in a minute and we'll get your thoughts because I want to stay positive. I'm really happy with that performance last night. Just then, I'm really happy with the performance. Really happy with the team. We played in third gear and we won a game comfortably 2-0. It's all about Chelsea at the weekend. Chelsea just lost 3-0 in Rome. That's going to be knocking their confidence. We've just won comfortably 2-0. We're qualifying top of our Champions League group. We're second in the league. We can go into that game really confident. We've rested some players. Lots and lots of positives. Yeah, you know what, at times the football wasn't brilliant, but it was, there was no Valencia and there was no Young for a start. So down the flanks, we were never going to be progressive. Darmian's a defensive right back. Blind hasn't got the pace, although I thought Blind played really well. In the midfield, we were never going to be as dynamic as we can be because as well as McTominay played, he's not really like a Herrera or a Pogba. He's not that sort of player. Lingard played a half at number 10. Again, you're not going to get loads of link-up play with Lingard playing. And Mkhitaryan came on. And again, better but not as good. So the warning signs were at the start of the game. Ross came on the pre-match watch-along and said 3-0. I said the ceiling will be 2. We won't score more than 2 goals with that team because there are elements of defensiveness about it. It's not like the team at the weekend where there is a lot of progression. So I'm very happy. 2-0 was what I predicted. The most important thing was to win the game. De Gea made 2 world-class saves without really being busy. Bay was very strong, although he did give a penalty away. Smalling was superb. Really, really comfortable result, and the results go well for us. Chelsea losing in relation to the weekend game. Basel losing, which gives us an unassailable lead in the group, and we will finish top of it, which will make it nicer in the knockout stage. I don't understand the negativity. I don't understand the negativity from Manchester United fans, and I don't understand what Mourinho's problem is, because Mourinho looks like he's carrying... it's a bit... I'm not in the United fans camp who think we're playing boring negative football and they're not happy, and I'm also not in Mourinho's camp of understanding why he's getting annoyed with United fans. I don't get it. Simply because we're second in the league. If we win at the weekend, I think we've got a great chance of winning the title. We've just qualified for our top of our Champions League group after only 4 games. We haven't got Pogba and we haven't had him for a long time. We've still got Zlatan, Rojo, Fellaini to come back as well. He didn't get all the transfer targets he wanted in the summer. We are massively overachieving. I don't see what the negativity is. I'm more than happy to come on after match reactions like you do sometimes overreact when you lose a game to Huddersfield. Of course, it's unacceptable. And moaning about the half-time substitutions Mourinho made is totally acceptable in the heat of the moment. And I still think now we made mistakes in that game. But in the grand scheme of things, what more can we do? I mean, apparently Paul Scholes was talking on BT Sports about the way Mourinho plays. I mean, to be honest, sit down. It's not really relevant at the moment. We knew what we were getting with Mourinho. Mourinho, for me, is not a 10-year manager at Manchester United. He's a short-term fix to win us the title, and we've not been anywhere near it since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So I can take that short-term fix if he wins us the title. Like Scott McTominay tonight sort of epitomises Mourinho. The brilliance of it, because I'm really pleased because he's been at the club since he was 5 years of age, and he is properly a youth player, and he is the one thing that I said Mourinho needed to do, which is create his own youth player. Rashford's not his. That was Van Gaal. Lingard's not his. That was it? I think it was Sir Alex. So McTominay's totally his. Is it the right one to be his? Not for me. It should be Twansibi, or he should have kept Fosu Mensah. That should be Mourinho's youth player, but it's McTominay, because Mourinho will always do things differently, and he likes McTominay because he's 6'4". But tonight, McTominay actually did really well, and you can sort of see, again, Mourinho does things that we don't necessarily agree, oh, it should be this player, it shouldn't be that player. But again, tonight you sort of see the brilliance of Mourinho, because actually, McTominay, from being a youth player that nobody thought would get near it, and I said in the summer, I don't think he'll ever do any better than the Championship. And I may still be right about that. I mean, let's not forget, he's not going to be playing against Chelsea. He's not a first-team midfielder. But for a young lad, he did well tonight. You know, he should be called Meg-Tominay because he gets nutmegged a lot. But for a lad of 6'4", with big legs like that, that's going to happen. It's the downside of being tall. But he got stuck in. You know, I think Mkhitaryan jumps out of 50-50s. McTominay jumped into them. He wasn't good in the air in the first half, somebody who was 6'4", but in the second half, he typical youth performance. Started off a bit nervy, grew into it. I think if he'd played for another 45 minutes, he probably would have been my man of the match because he was just growing into the game. So, positive. Mourinho, again, really, really good. Martial was fantastic. I mean, Martial was 9 out of 10 tonight, but did loads wrong. He missed a penalty in the second half. His final ball was really poor. But everything around that was so world class. I mean, the run for the penalty was just unbelievable. He did so much good things. He is our best player, Martial, but I think Mourinho doesn't give him loads of praise because he can see that he's still got a lot to do. I mean, he's the best player now, but he's still got a lot more he can do. And his final ball still needs work. But that was fantastic from Martial tonight. Matic again, very, very, very good. Mata, very, very consistent again. So lots and lots of good things from United. Again, I think Lingard didn't do enough as a number 10. I don't think Mkhitaryan did either. They weren't both terrible, but not enough. It's such an important position, that number 10 position. And we need to solve it. And we can't solve it at the moment because Pogba's not back fit. Zlatan's not ready yet. He won't play Mata there. But it's such an important position, that number 10. And at the moment, we're not getting the most out of the number 10. And that is my concern going into the Chelsea game. We're not getting enough out of the number 10. Lukaku, I will mention Lukaku. Look, why are people having a go at Lukaku about his first touch? It's not a secret. We knew it. What I said in the summer, I don't know whether I want Lukaku because his first touch is like a brick wall. Everybody said it. When we signed him, I backed him and everyone backed him. You can't start criticising Lukaku about his first touch because it's not a secret. It was always bad. He will improve, but he is not going to improve his first touch in 3 months. It's probably going to take all season. What I loved about Lukaku tonight is what Mourinho was saying at the weekend and what many of us have been on about for a long time. Lukaku runs the channels and he is tireless and it creates a lot of space. And what I really liked about Lukaku tonight was that Martial was struggling with his final ball in the second half and it cut to Lukaku, who was like this, Martial, come on, get your head up. And you forget that. Lukaku is a senior player in the team and Martial's still quite young. And he was positive and he kept him going. Even though some people were saying Lukaku was rubbish, he's still got the time to find for other players to boost them. His work ethic is second to none. I like Lukaku. And he effectively had an assist tonight because he set up Matic for the shot. So that's 3 and 3. So I haven't got any problems with Lukaku. Was there a bad player on the pitch for United tonight? It would be Lingard or Mkhitaryan, but I don't think either of them were terrible, which is a big, big positive. De Gea made 2 class saves as well. Darmian did well. He's just limited going forward. Rashford won as a penalty when he came on. I don't think there's a lot to be negative about, and I do think it is a bit of a myth about the way we play. I don't think we're doing anything shocking at all. I think we started the season really, really well. We scored a lot of goals. We've had a difficult period. Started off with Liverpool, losing at Huddersfield, ground out a fantastic result against Spurs. In between that, we've ground out 2 really good results against Benfica, winning and not conceding. And ultimately, this little mini international break period that we've played will be defined by the result against Chelsea at the weekend. If we win that, I think we're beating Chelsea and Spurs, a draw against Liverpool and a loss to Huddersfield. Not ideal, but not terrible either. So everything will be determined by this Chelsea game at the weekend, and I don't think we should show them any fear at all. I think we're doing really, really well, and I haven't got a problem with tonight's performance. Look, I haven't got the answers, and I'm sure some people are really, really frustrated. But personally, I can only say I think there was a lot of positives out of that. I thought Bailly needed that game time, and he got it, and he did well. But yeah, really, really good. And VK Dean says Lukaku looks tired. Maybe he does. But Dazis Gaming, I'm worried about Lukaku. He looks so isolated. The problem with Manchester United at the moment, good comment from Breach69. He says De Gea was man of the match for me. I'm going to do my man of the match in a minute. But the problem, and we've all been talking about it. I'm not going to take credit. We've all been talking about it. We don't have a number 10 at the moment. We don't have a number 10 at the moment, and that is such a problem. As I said, you look at Manchester City, they've probably got 4 players who can play that role convincingly at the moment. De Bruyne, they're both the Silvers, even Sane could do it. They've got so many players to create. We've got none. Mkhitaryan's woefully out of form. I watched him tonight. He was better than he was at the weekend, but physically, it always falls apart. He either gets knocked off the ball or doesn't win the tackle. That's not good enough. Same with Lingard. He wasn't terrible today, but not enough. Like if you could put either of them on the right wing and it's fine because you're out the way, and if you lose it, it's fine. But the number 10, it's the vital cog in the attacking part of your game. It's so important, and that is where it's going wrong for Manchester United at the moment. It's the number 10. How do we solve it? For me, it's got to be Mata, but he doesn't want to play Mata there, and it will be a problem at the weekend unless Lingard or Mkhitaryan suddenly find 2 gears. I think they're 2 gears off where we need to be. That's why Lukaku's getting isolated, because we can't feed him decent ball at the moment, and it is a problem. Louise O'Donoghue wants to give McTominay a 2 out of 10. Look, I refuse to give Scott McTominay man of the match. As I said during the game, I think he's getting man of the match off a lot of people because it was his debut in the Champions League and he's a young lad and he did well. But are we such a desperado club at Manchester United that we give people man of the match through sentimental reasons? I don't think we should. I think, I don't think McTominay will watch this video, but if he was watching, I would say, Scott McTominay, what a great debut in the Champions League. You really did very, very well, but you need to keep improving. There's still elements of your game you need to work very hard on. You're not having man of the match, but you did really well. That's what Manchester United should be about. Progression, progression, progression. He wasn't man of the match. There were 2 or 3 players better than him tonight, but he did very, very well in my eyes. So my man of the match tonight is going to be... I'm going to give it to Chris Smalling. I'm going to give it to Chris Smalling because they ran through one-on-one when it was 1-0, and he made it hit the post with a last-ditch sort of block on it. I think he's been very, very good since the US tour. I thought he was unlucky not to start the season as the centre-back with Bay. It was Jones who's done very well. He's played the last few games when we needed him to. He wasn't at fault at Huddersfield. That was obviously Lindelof. He's been very, very consistent. He's kept his head. He's not sulked. He's not got any injuries, which Smalling sometimes can do. And I thought he was solid tonight. And I thought Bailly was solid, but Bailly was a little bit rusty. He nearly gave that goal away. So I'm going to give it to Smalling, basically because I thought he was fantastic against Spurs as well. And I think he gets a lot of criticism. And I think he was man of the match. He got turned on one occasion, but I thought he was very good. If you give it to Matic, well done. If you give it to Mata, well done. If you give it to Martial, well done. If you give it to De Gea, well done. I think those are pretty much the 5 players you could give it to. But no, I was very impressed with Smalling tonight, and partly because George Kyle didn't want me to give it to him, I'll give it to him as well. But who would I give it to if it wasn't Smalling? Martial. I thought Martial lit the game up today, especially in the first half. He was on another planet, and I don't understand how anybody could criticise Martial because of his final ball or missing the penalty when he created the penalty out of nothing and went past about 4 players. And yes, his final ball wasn't great, but everything up to the final ball was things that nobody in our squad can do. He is a definer. The closest thing to him is Rashford, and that's why they share the position. But I still think, why can't we have one on one side and one on the other? Because we destroy teams. Why are they sharing this position when we have got problems at number 10 and on the right? Just play both. But we know why we don't play both, because then you haven't got an impact player on the bench, because he didn't get Perisic. But Martial does things other people in our squad can't. So Martial probably should get man of the match. But I'm going to give it to Smalling on a personal level. Thanks everybody. Please do drop a like. Try to be positive. I'm positive about the result tonight. We have qualified for the Champions League. We will be top of the Champions League group, which will be favourable to us in February in the next knockout stage. But it will also be favourable to us over the next 2 Champions League games. I think we'll put a decent side out against Basel. But the last Champions League game, which is the start of December against Moscow at home, we will be comfortably top of the group, and it falls between Arsenal away and Man City at home. And we should just not play any of our first team players because we've qualified and we'll be top of the group. Play people like McTominay, maybe even Twansibi, Darmian, people like that, Lingard, the reserves. Keep everybody fresh for those 2 big games. Chelsea is massive at the weekend. If we win that, I think we can do anything this season. I did want to talk about Mourinho's unhappiness, but I think we'll do that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So join us for that. I don't understand what's going on with Mourinho at the moment. I think he's letting himself get too worked up. I don't know why he's so unhappy. When we scored the second goal, he sort of reacted to the crowd again, like, like, I'm right. Jose, I love you to bits. Don't start on the United crowd. Just don't do it. There'll only be one winner. You don't turn on the United fans. Don't do it. United is however good Mourinho is, Manchester United are the most legendary club in football. Their history we've been through. Mourinho, your time at United will be a dot in time. It can be a great dot, but it will be a small time. Manchester United are massive. Don't try and dictate to United fans what they can and can't sing. Enjoy it. We like you. You're doing really, really well. Just crack on and enjoy it, and don't be miserable. Why are you miserable? You're doing really well. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like if you've enjoyed the content. Watch along through to now. And don't forget, we have got fan cams coming up in about an hour's time. So don't go to bed. Enjoy a bit of Halloween. And about 11 o'clock, we'll have some fan cams up for you. Really intrigued to see what fans have got to say about the performances, their man of the match. I'm sure somebody will give it to McTominay. But big shout out to the United Standers, which is you lot. You've now got your new name, and the early squad, and everybody who's watched us tonight. Be nice to get up to 400 likes. If you haven't dropped a like, please do. Get commenting below if you're not watching live. I want to know your man of the match. I think it's really intriguing because, like I said, it probably should have gone to somebody beginning with an M, but I gave it to Smalling. If not Smalling, Martial. And I've just realised we've got the Halloween set still, so apologies for that, but it was Halloween when I did it. Thanks everyone for watching. Back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and we will revisit this Mourinho miserableness, which I just think is totally unnecessary, both from the fans who are trying to attack him and from Mourinho who's being miserable. We're doing really well. We're still a club in progress. Let's enjoy it. We've qualified for the Champions League group knockout. Remember what Van Gaal did. We had a really easy group with Benfica, Basel and Wolfsburg, was it? We didn't get out of it. So we shouldn't take for granted what we're achieving at the moment, which is good things. Lots of positives tonight for me. Performance was a third gear performance. Fine. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch the fan cams.